Well, to discuss the current situation in Libya, we're now joined in our London studio by UK-based Libyan political activist and writer Guma El-Gamaty. Thanks for being there.
Thank you.
Now, the revolution that began in eastern Libya has now been spreading to towns very close to the capital. Can the dictator still cling on to power in Tripoli?
I think practically Gaddafi's regime is finished. It's over. He's down. It's just a matter of time. This time could be hours, could be days. The whole of the eastern region is now totally free of Gaddafi's control. In the western region, big towns and cities have also fallen. We have confirmation this morning that the third biggest city in Libya, which is Misrata, some 200 kilometers east of Tripoli, is totally free of Gaddafi, and they have managed to tackle the last security battalion in the city and taken it over. In fact, the local radio station in Misrata is now broadcasting free material against Gaddafi and celebrating with the population. Also, other towns like Zawiya, only 40 kilometers west of Tripoli, we had reports today directly from there that it is free. Zuwara near the Tunisian border, Garian south of Tripoli about 80 kilometers. Gaddafi is now more or less isolated within Tripoli, and within Tripoli itself is just isolated inside his headquarter barrack, which is called Bab al-Aziziyya barrack, surrounded by his sons and his few of his security battalions.
Yes, can I just ask you about that? Because also reported that thousands of mercenaries and militia units commanded by his sons are on the roads leading into Tripoli, preparing for to repel any kind of invasion from the demonstrators or the demonstrating or the opposition forces, let's put it that way. Will they continue to fight these groups?
Well, yeah, what's happening is that he has thousands of African mercenaries. Some of them have been caught in the eastern region and interviewed and interrogated. They are Africans who speak French or English. They are totally alien to the Libyan society. And they said they have been promised large amounts of dollars to fight for Gaddafi, basically. And these thousands of Africans are within the Bab al-Aziziyya barrack. It's a huge complex. And they unleashed them out of the barracks into the streets of Tripoli to terrorize the population and to prevent them from coming out and demonstrating. These mercenaries have orders to shoot any people who they see on the street. So that is what's holding the huge population of Tripoli, which is about 2 million people, to not to come out en masse. Basically, they are held hostages inside their houses. However, you know, the grip is loosening very fast, and even within Bab al-Aziziyya barrack, we hear of defections, we hear of the Libyan elements within Bab al-Aziziyya. Some of them are refusing to go out and shoot their own citizens, and as a result they have been executed, and we hear of inviting. The most serious thing we've heard this morning from quite reliable sources from Tripoli is that somebody, a Libyan, called from within Bab al-Aziziyya, called his cousin and said, look, Gaddafi is preparing his private plane to flee and fly out to Zimbabwe. The report says that Gaddafi's own private plane is loaded with gold bullion and lots of hard currency, mainly dollars, and is preparing to flee to Zimbabwe with his friend Robert, to stay there in the safety of his friend Robert Mugabe. We think this could happen very shortly because the Security Council is threatening to impose a no-fly zone, and we think that Gaddafi will try to escape before this no-fly zone is imposed, possibly by tomorrow. So this is the most serious story we've heard today. It's very indicative of the fact that Gaddafi is totally isolated, is surrounded more or less, and is probably in a state of mind where he's just concentrating and thinking about how to escape and run away and stay alive.
Well, there are a lot of rumours. In fact, another one is that he's about to make a television address. One of his former ministers, in fact, I think the Minister for Justice, is saying that he will actually die like Hitler. He'll commit suicide at the last minute when surrounded by liberators.
I mean, that is a small possibility. We believe that probably Gaddafi doesn't really have the courage to kill himself. We think he still have this grandiose idea that he will go to Africa and rally all the Africans. Remember, he has the title of the King of Kings of Africa. So he thinks he can still go to Africa and rally all the Africans around him and come back to Libya and take it over again. This man doesn't think like me and you and ordinary people. He has serious psychological defects, and we don't think that he has the courage to kill himself, but who knows, that is also a possibility. But whether he flees, whether he kills himself, whether he gets arrested, I think he is doomed, and I think his end is very imminent.
Very briefly, what about all his sons? He has 7 sons, and many of them actually control their own, as we mentioned earlier, control their own militias. Some of those militias actually are quite well armed. In fact, some of the most well armed battalions within the Libyan military.
Yes, they do. He has 7 sons, although we're not sure that all of them are with him inside the barracks. Each one of them has one of these, what we call security battalions, well equipped. And these are the security battalions that they have been using lately, mainly in Tripoli. Now, what will happen to the sons? It's difficult to say. If Gaddafi flees out of the country, will they go with him? Will they try to flee and run away in different directions? Or will they die inside the barracks? I think that will be revealed maybe in the next few days. But obviously the sons have a lot of money outside, mainly in Europe, and they have enjoyed a very flamboyant lifestyle, and some of them even came to Australia, like Saadi, who came a few times to Australia as well. So, it is really difficult to predict what will happen to all the sons as things unravel in the next hours and days.
Okay.
But I don't think they will fight to the death. I think they are young, and they probably try to run away and see if they can enjoy the rest of their life somewhere far away. But obviously there will be no immune place for them. I think there will be calls for them to brought to justice wherever they escape to.
Okay, just look at the other side of the equation for a moment, and that is the opposition movement. Are there any leaders emerging within this group of demonstrators, protesters, or now revolutionaries, I suppose you'd have to call them?
Well, I don't know about revolutions. This is a popular uprising from ordinary citizens, mainly young men who came out in the street, who are willing to die to get their freedom. Libya has been under oppression, sheer oppression, for 41 years. There's a lot of exacerbation. There's a lot of frustration. So, the young people just came out en masse. A lot of them died, especially in Benghazi and Beida, and now they want to be free. Some of them are already free. As far as leadership is concerned, I think there is a lot of human wealth and a lot of leadership that will emerge. For example, somebody like the ex-Justice Minister, Mustafa Abdul Jalil, who spoke today. He's a very well-respected man. He's a judge. And there are some top-ranking military officers who defected from Gaddafi, the ex-Interior Minister and others. And I'm sure more will appear in the other side of Libya, in the western region. I think there will be, sort of popular leaders, a combination of tribal leaders, military leaders, and intellectuals, and intellectual elites and statesmen that will emerge and try to forge a dialogue and a consensus that will oversee a transition period that should hopefully lead ultimately to a stabilized government, and also hopefully a constitutional democratic government. That is what the main aspiration of the Libyan people is to actually achieve a constitutional, stable, democratic government that will be dedicated to serving its people, unlike the way Gaddafi handled Libya in the last 41 years, with sheer oppression, the marginalization, and totally disfranchised the population and made it very poor, although the country is very wealthy.
Guma El-Gamaty, we'll have to leave you there. Hopefully we'll have a chance to talk to you again as this story unfolds, and it may unfold very quickly by the sound of it. Thank you very much.
With pleasure. Thank you.